One of the secrets to understanding native English speakers is to learn phrasal verbs because we use them every single day in our speech, and our vocabulary is filled with phrasal verbs. So, how well do you know phrasal verbs? Let's find out, because in this lesson, first I'm going to quiz you to see how well you know phrasal verbs, and then I'll explain each phrasal verb in detail so you feel confident understanding it and using it in your speech. Welcome back to JForrest English. I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. Question 1. My new coworker and I really get along. We classic cars every day. Now, I'm only going to give you 3 seconds to answer the question, which is not a lot of time. So hit pause, take as much time as you need, and when you're ready to see the answer, hit play. Nerd out on. Question 2. We need to develop a plan. We can't just the presentation. We can't just muddle through the presentation. Question 3, if you keep to your boss, you're going to get fired. Mouthing off. Question 4, I'm so mad at my husband. Our credit card in Las Vegas. Maxed out. Question 5. Franco's the type that loves to others, but he can't take it in return. Dishing it out. Question 6. Mom, I'm bored. How much longer do we need to stick around? Question 7. I'm teaching my 4-year-old the importance of before dinner. Washing up. Question 8. Millie forgot to last night and we were robbed. Lock up. Question 9. Our meetings always go long because Erica non-stop yammers on. And finally, question 10, we're going camping for a week, so we need to firewood. Load up on. So, how did you do with that quiz? Don't worry if it was difficult, because now I'm going to explain each phrasal verb in detail. Let's do that now. Number 1, to dish out. This simply means to criticize. So when you criticize someone or something, you say something negative about it. For example, she really dished it out to Tom at the meeting. She really criticized Tom at the meeting. Now notice I said dished it out. What's the it? The it represents the criticism. She dished out the criticism. She dished it out to Tom. And we always use this expression with criticism, so you don't need to specify that it. I'm sharing this phrasal verb with you because we have a very common expression in English. You can dish it out, but you can't take it. You can dish it out, which means you freely give criticism to others, but you can't take it. Which means if somebody tries to criticize you, you do not accept that. You become very upset or very angry. So if someone is being very critical, you might say, well, you can dish it out, but can you take it? Can you receive the criticism that you're giving? It's a way to remind someone that maybe you shouldn't criticize others. You can dish it out, but you can't take it. Number 2, to muddle through. This is when you do or achieve something accidentally without a specific plan. For example, I muddled through making the cake. So maybe I had no idea how to make this cake. I didn't know the procedure. I didn't feel prepared. I muddled through making the cake, but it was actually quite delicious. So sometimes when you muddle through something, the result isn't very positive because you don't actually have a plan. Other times, it can be positive in the end. Number 3, to nerd out. Oh, I love this one. When you nerd out on something, it means you discuss it in great detail. Greater detail than the average person would normally do. For example, I can nerd out on sentence structure all day. I can discuss sentence structure, English sentence structure, all day. But my friends who are native English speakers have no interest in discussing English sentence structure. To them, that is boring. But to me as an English teacher, and most likely to you as an English learner, we can nerd out on the English language all day. I can also nerd out on plants, talking about plants, different types of plants, looking at plants. I really love plants as well, but the average person probably doesn't want to discuss it in as much detail as I do. What about you? What's something that you could nerd out on? Nerd out on this specific topic all day. Share that in the comments. Number 4, to stick around. This is a very common phrasal verb, and it simply means to remain in a place for a period of time. Let's say you just finished dinner with a friend at a restaurant and you drove, but your friend took the bus. So you can just get in your car and leave, but your friend has to wait until the bus comes. So you could say, oh, don't worry, I'll stick around until the bus comes. I'll stay with you at this specific location, the restaurant or the bus stop, until the bus comes. Or let's say you're in the mall and it's raining outside. You might say, well, let's just stick around until it stops raining. So let's stay at this specific location until it stops raining. You'll absolutely use this in your daily speech and hear native speakers using this one all the time. Number 5, to wash up. This simply means to clean your hands, to wash your hands, and or to wash your face. So before dinner, you could say, oh, I just need to wash up. And most likely you're going to wash your hands. And I commonly say this in the evening before I watch a movie. I could say to my husband, oh, just give me 5 minutes to wash up before we start the movie. And for me, it's to wash my face because I love taking off my makeup before I watch a movie. It's a lot more comfortable. So women might use the wash up for our face more frequently. So it can be for both hands and face. Number 6, to lock up. This is when you securely close your windows and doors or entrances to your house or building. So it's another way of simply saying lock. For example, make sure you lock up before bed. And in that case, it's in your home, and that's of course good advice. But if you work in a building, someone is likely responsible for locking up at the end of the workday. So one person might be responsible for making sure that all the entrances to that building are securely closed or locked. So for example, Sally is responsible for locking up. Number 7, to yammer on. This is when you talk continuously in an annoying way. For example, I ran into Kate at the mall and she yammered on for hours and I missed my bus. So I ran into Kate. I saw Kate, but I wasn't expecting to see her. I saw her accidentally. I ran into Kate at the mall and she yammered on, oh, hi, Jennifer. I'd love to tell you about my vacation. And then 10 minutes later, she's still talking about her vacation and she doesn't realize that I'm not that interested in her vacation, or I'm just busy and need to leave, to yammer on. Number 8, to mouth off. When you mouth off to someone, you speak to that person in a disrespectful way or in an angry way. So this is something that kids, especially teenagers, do to their parents. And when I was a teenager, if I mouthed off to my parents, I would be grounded. When you're grounded, this means that certain privileges are taken away from you. So if you're grounded, maybe you can't go to the movies with your friends, you can't use the car, you can't use the computer, privileges you would normally have in the house.
You're grounded.
You're grounded.
And as adults, we also don't want to mouth off to certain people like our boss, or an authority figure like a police officer. Is definitely not a good idea to mouth off. Number 9, to max out. When you max something out, it means you take that something to a limit. For example, I maxed out my credit cards on vacation. So your credit card has a limit, maybe $10,000. If you maxed out that credit card, it means that you spent $10,000, the maximum amount, the limit of that credit card. Likely not the best idea. And finally, number 10, to load up on. When you load up on something, it means you consume a lot of that something, or you purchase a lot of that something for a specific purpose. So let's say you're an athlete. Right before a race or a competition, you might load up on carbs. Carbs are carbohydrates, energy for your body. So you want to consume a lot of carbs. Jim loaded up on carbs before the race. Or you could say we loaded up on toilet paper because it was on sale. So we purchased a large amount of toilet paper because it was on sale. Now that you're more comfortable with these phrasal verbs, how about we do that same quiz again and you can compare your score from the beginning to this time. Let's start the quiz now. Here are the questions. Hit pause, take as much time as you need, and when you're ready to see the answers, hit play. Here are the answers. Hit pause and take as much time as you need to review them. And when you're ready, hit play. So, did you see a big improvement compared to the first time and the last time? Share your score from both quizzes in the comments below. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And why don't you keep learning phrasal verbs with this lesson right now?